Hello everybody and welcome back to the finale of what has been a most enthralling season. As you can see with the standings, Rossini have already locked up the Constructors title, but the big story at the front of the grid is Dieter Wexler. He has COVID. Can he defend a 20-point lead to Sharp and a 23-point lead to Chapman? Or will Chapman or even Sharp potentially nick it at the last breath of the season, of a COVID-affected season where unfortunately no crowds are here to witness this spectacle? Anyway, as we head into the key part of Saturday, qualifying, we will see how this unfolds.
So this Dubai circuit's is usually very dusty. It takes a while for the track grip to go up on this track. So the more laps you do here, the better off you are. However, obviously going offline will cause a lot of issues here. So getting the right line and avoiding the dust is crucial here. But on this shorter layout as well, it'll be interesting to see how traffic plays a part in this.
Well, Siri Lundqvist, who is replacing, I believe Modi is the replacement that Lundqvist is taking over for, has jumped the gun first. Ji-Sung Lee is also out, as well as, surprisingly, Zoe Sharp, a very early choice to make an early running Q1.
Might be going for two runs instead of one here. So we'll have to see what Sharp does here. But Sharp has a big mountain to climb to try and topple Dieter Wexler and finally win that driver's title that she's wanted. At the way it's with no points for pole position, the only way Sharp needs to qualify needs to get to the front of the grid as fast as possible here, no matter what. She needs to qualify up in the front two, at least in the front two rows, to stand a chance here. As she does not win the race, she cannot win the title, as she will lose on countback to Wexler if she finishes second with the fastest lap points.
As we see that Brigitte Gobert and the Ukkonen of Bashir have also come out. More cars starting to pile out, such as Lipponen, as we see Siri Lundqvist setting the first time of qualifying. We'll see where she comes across and if that will be a good benchmark or not.
Sharp easily going faster though in that Panther car, which is well clear of the Van Door cars. As Dieter Wexler
setting a 1:31.3, as Wolf mentions that Wexler, the potential champion, is out of the pit box and onto the track.
Indeed, as Sharp goes quick as 129.812, 1.5 seconds clear of Siri Lundqvist. A brilliant time and a brilliant marker to put down over the rest of the field. As Gonzalez goes across the line, goes fourth at the moment, as Bashir goes third, exact same time as Siri Lundqvist. Meanwhile, Gobert to the line, only 3/100ths of a second off of Sharp, and Gobert ties with Sharp, and they are both tied at provisional pole for the moment in Q1. As Dieter Wexler starts his lap. Chapman and Talley are both on outlets right now. Surkov still parked in the pits. Now he leaves the pit. Now Surkov leaving his pit garage now. As Surkov's now on track next to the two Van Dorts on the track at the moment, but both are on in laps. As Lipponen goes provisionally third now. To grab to the line in the Thornton. Only 7, 2 seconds down on Gobert. That might not be good enough to get in.
Wexler 3/10 down through sectors 1 and 2. Can he pull it back in the final sector?
Wexler to the line. No. Wexler to the line. No. Almost half a second down on his teammate. Chapman, purple first sector by almost a tenth of a second. And
Smith goes third, by the way.
ahead of Wexler. Ahead of Wexler goes.
This is not a good sign if you're on the other half.
Ooh, did Chapman get a little bit of slipstream off of that slow car on the inside or not? Purple middle sector, still just up by just over a 10. Chapman to the line. Where does he go? First by just under a tenth of a second ahead of Gobert. Sharp is out on track to set another lap now. As Gobert apparently is apparently going to go out to respond as well to this.
Of course, we're seeing Sharp slightly held up by a bit of traffic there. Meanwhile, speaking of Wexler and the Rossini, Claire Tallies jumps him for what was fifth, as Surakov jumps both of them for fifth. Wexler is down in seventh.
Purple second sector for Sharp at the moment. Sharp on a flyer. Purple second sector, a tenth and a half up. Sharp to the line, and there's track evolution for you. 0.3 of a second clear of Chapman. And meanwhile, Gobert is coming back out on the track. Not sure why the Rossini driver is coming back out for another run, but perhaps she wants to get more laps in so she can make her Q3 lap even better. As Gonzalez across the line, only 13th right now, not safe yet. As we have more cars coming to start their laps or finish laps. Holtz and the LaRue. Where can the German finish? Holtz to the line. Only 16th place, 2.4 seconds off the pace. That might not be good enough. As Vidal goes out for another lap. DeGraff is on track for another lap. So is Kofi Koro in his father's car. As Gobert sets a purple middle sector now. She's on a flying lap. Everybody out. Oh, the bottom 6 cars have yet to set a lap. Vercluse, Cristiano, Lorenz, and Hamrin and Ribeiro. As I believe Hamrin just sets a lap. He goes 12. He's clear. DeGraff, green middle sector. DeGraff on a green middle sector. DeGraff coming to the line. Can DeGraff make it in? DeGraff to the line. No, DeGraff to the line. Stay 16th. Meanwhile, we have Cristiano coming to the line. Cristiano to the line. Does he make it? Goes 15th. He should be saved. As Holtz and Ribeiro are both knocked out. Cora's currently at the moment. Recluse to the line in the Yuma. Getting a slipstream off the car in front. Recluse to the line. Goes 10th. He's saved. Vidal to the line. Only 20th. Cannot make it. He's out. And so is DeGraff. Coro to the line. Coro to the line. He's the last car to set a... Will be the last one to finish a lap. Coro to the line. Does he make it in? No. Stage 21st. He is out. Jeremy Woodford makes it in just barely. As DeGraff, Vidal, Coro, Holtz, Ribeiro, and Lee are the 6 cars that are knocked out in Q1.
Meanwhile, up front, Gobert did actually snatch back what would have been pole position if it were a single qualifier. However, my concern for the other side of the Rossini and ultimately the championship, Wolfgang Schmidt was within half a tenth of Dieter Wexler in that first session. Could that be a sign that Wexler needs to focus on just getting those last points rather than pushing on for a grand podium finish?
All Wexler needs, though, is just a 7th place finish to secure the top. Is a 7th place finish to lock up the title, no matter what happens. Even if Sharp or Chapman wins, 7th place will lock it up for him. As Claire Talley makes a move to be the first one out on track. Maybe she wants to set 2 runs during this session.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, as Lats Diamond has been reporting some slight issues getting used to the car. Not too uncommon, unfortunately, for Claire Talley all season. It seems the car generally has been built towards Chapman, which unfortunately could see her replaced come the off-season. So we see Gonzalez out on track also, and that is one of the Panthers of Nikolai Surakov coming out on track.
Gonzalez is out on track now as well.
Surakov, another one tipped to potentially lose their seat, although I'm sure a strong finish would convince Panther otherwise.
I do feel for Surikov, I really do. Sharp is a really strong teammate to go up against, but Sharp has been getting most of the team's attention since the first few races of the season, as Sharp and Panther quite rightly predicted that Sharp could be the title contender for this season. However, the car is just simply not fast enough. The car is simply not fast enough, and Sharp and Chapman and Wexler are just simply too strong of drivers, even in their older age, to be able to be stopped that easily. So, if you're Sharp, again, you gotta be wondering, what do you need to do? Do you need to get into that Steinman? Do you need to get into that Steinman car, perhaps? Could that be a destination for her?
That's the frustrating thing for Sharp, is despite the fact she is in the title fight and does need the race victory, it's not come all season, the race victory. While she is the only driver to have scored points in every round and competed in every round, obviously while doing so, she just hasn't been able to convert some pretty good finishes. She's had, I believe, 5 front row starts and no victories.
Indeed. Again, the car's just simply not fast enough. The car's just simply not fast enough. Despite all her effort and all her talent, the car's just not fast enough to be able to get that race victory. And the Panther strategy team has also been lacking a little bit as well, as Wexler sets the benchmark time of a 129.7. Sharp going 2 purple sectors beats Wexler by 2 seconds of a 129.593. So Wexler stepping up his game here. He's within 2/10 of a second of Sharp, which is all he really needs to do. He just needs to be with the ballpark here, and he's got this. Although the fight for Q3 will be very interesting indeed. We have a lot of contenders here that could make it in. Both the Yumas, Wolfgang Schmidt, Siri Lundqvist, Hamrin, Bashir, who we believe might take Sharp's seat as Sharp leaves, and the 2 Katanas of Bergman and Limpinen, who we believe are both staying with the team for next season. There's even Linda Lorenz as a dark horse pick, who has done brilliantly in that Thornton car against the flying Rick DeGraff, who unfortunately is already out, as he only qualified 19th.
As we see Does getting a 1...
Whoa!
That is... Ooh, Chapman has set a 129.25.
Gobert to the line. Gobert only second, almost 3/10 of a second off. That was a monster of a lap from Chapman there. He wants to at least go out on a high, even if the championship is all but sewn up.
Well, from the looks of it, it seems to be the final 2 corners, that really tricky inside left-hander, that seems to be where about 2/10 of the gap comes from. That's a really tricky corner, as we're seeing Jeremy Woodford come up to that very corner right now. If you get it right, it's such a good feeling. If you get it wrong, it's such a horrible feeling. And you lose all the time on the pit straight, getting it wrong. We see Maria Gonzalez rounding the final 2 corners as well. She will be looking for Q3.
Only 11th.
That will not help her.
Only 11th, and that means she's out. Gonzalez, Hammerin, and Woodford are all out. They finished their laps, and they won't have enough time to go back out. So Gonzalez, Hammerin, and Woodford all out. All 3 of them are out. Bergman to the line. Bergman though to the line goes ninth, 1.3 seconds off the pace. That might be good enough, as he's 4/10 clear of Cristiano. But it's going to be close. Linda Lorenz to the line. 2 green only on her only flying lap. Where does Lorenz go? Only 11. Just misses out by just under by 4/100ths of a second to Cristiano. What about Vercluse? What can Vercluse do? Here, can the Yuma get it? Can the Yuma driver put the lap together? Looking good so far. Looking good so far. Up to the line. Recluse to the line. Goes 8th place. He's in. Bergman now on the cut line. Cristiano is out on another lap. He's got a green first sector. Aki Lippinen's coming to the line now. Aki Lippinen coming to the line now. Where does Aki go? As Chapman's going even faster. Aki Lippinen to the line. No, only 11. Only 11 for Aki Lippinen. He misses out, and Bergman will win that qualifying battle of the teammates. Cristiano to the line. Little bit of traffic from Linda Lorenz in the final corner. Cristiano to the line. Does he make it in? No, stage 12. Sharp improves, but Sharp improves and goes second. Chapman doesn't improve on his lap time, stays first. Clark Smith finishes his lap and stays sixth. Syrian Lundqvist is the last car on track. 2 white sectors though, doesn't look likely. She goes to the line, stays 14th. So that means Bergman makes it in after all. Aki Lippinen, Cristiano D'Oste, Linda Lorenz, Syrian Lundqvist, Maria Gonzalez, Cameron, Woodford, and Bashir are the cars that are eliminated in Q2. So it'll be Chapman, Sharp, Gobert, Wexler, the two Yumas of Clark Smith and Recluse, Surkov, Talley, Schmidt, and Bergman's Katana will fight for pole here.
As it'll be an interesting one to see all of the top 8, well, quote-unquote top 8, that being the Yumas, Steinmans, Rossinis and Panthers making it through, and one Kitano and Van Dort. Not too surprising who made it through in the end. A couple of surprises further down the grid, but it'll be interesting to see as we head into the decisive Q3. As who's that jumping first? It's Sharp.
Interesting call here.
First. Well, looking forward towards next year, Zoe Sharp was audibly frustrated with the team at the last race, and according to the speculators, again, this is just opinions, but the speculators say the departing Chapman, his seat may fall to Zoe Sharp. The other competition that she may have is the current Steinman reserve of Pascal Becker, but also Bashir, who got knocked out in Q2, is tipped to potentially get a top drive, either replacing Sharp or perhaps alongside Sharp.
I hope Bashir gets a good drive. The Japanese driver is a very skilled talent here. He just needs the car to be able to prove it, and the Ukkonen is just simply not that car right now. And the Ukkonen seems to be having some issues with strategy as well. Specifically with what happened last time out in Rio, where they called him in way too early for the intermediate tires and basically ruined his race. Bashir just needs a team around it that's actually willing to put their back behind him. And right now, Ukkonen is not that team. It seems to be Hamren's team at the moment.
Meanwhile, among the others in Q3, the other potential hot seat, while not necessarily top drive, would still be
Wexler makes a move now. Wexler makes a move now to lead the pit lane. Sharp is the only person who's on a flying lap at the moment. Although Bergman is about to start his flying lap. Sharp's in the line to set the benchmark. Sharp sets the benchmark 1:29.343. So actually slower than Chapman's Q2 time. Interesting note there. So
as Gobert and Bergman run flying laps, back to the silly season discussion. The other hot seat, still in the pit lane right now, is Nabil Veracruz. There's rumour circulating on both sides. The side that he will stay and the side that he could be replaced by the young gun in F2 Brit, or even Maksat Harbuzi is also another name being floated around.
Harbuzi's done a good job in F2 at the moment, so it's possible he could be a good candidate to get moved up to the main series by a big team. Meanwhile, though, Gobert coming to the line to set her lap as Bergman's a 1.1 seconds off the pace. Gobert to the line, 1.8 off of Sharp at the moment. So not the best lap from Gobert, but it's still a promising one as Sharp is going out again for another lap. She's going for another one as here comes Wexler, half a second down through the second sector though. Not the greatest lap time at the moment. Wexler comes to the line, 0.7 of a second off of Sharp. Ouch.
That could be beaten by someone such as Ollie Clark-Smith, who is
or Sharp's teammate Nikolai Surikov.
Surikov should also be looking to beat that underwhelming time from the potential incumbent champion Rossini. Surikov yet to make a move out the pit lane alongside Schmidt.
Gobert it appears Gobert is about to make another run. We think, as they're getting the tires ready in the garage. As here comes Clark-Smith to set his lap time. Chapman just started his flying lap, and so declared Tally. So both Diamonds are on flying laps. Clark-Smith to the line. 1.4 seconds off the pace. Slower than Jens Bergman. So a pretty bad lap from Clark-Smith there. Chapman goes purple in Sector 1. 28.3 in Sector 1. Little bit of traffic from, I believe that is Jens Bergman in the Katana there. So a little bit of traffic there. Claire Tally's on 2 green sectors at the moment. Not going purple in any sector. Sharp is going purple in the middle sector though. So Sharp is throwing down the gauntlet. Claire Tally to the line, goes third, 0.6 of a second off of Sharp. Sharp to the line, goes even faster, 129.312. Chapman to the line, no, can't beat her. Chapman failed to get her. Chapman failed to beat her by 0.03 of a second. Chapman misses out on pole. That's unbelievable there.
As we're seeing Wexler being sent out, what is very late in the session, there will be, we believe, 5 more drivers to set laps. Gobert, Wexler, Bergman, Surikov, and Schmidt.
Surikov is on a flying. Surikov and Gobert are both on flying laps now. So is Jens Bergman and Wolfgang Schmidt. So Bergman will be the first.
Gobert's gone purple.
Purple first sector for Gobert. Oh, and look out! There's traffic from her teammate. It's Wexler on an out lap. Well, does that affect Gobert at all? We'll have to wait for the middle sector split, as Bergman does not improve on his time. Green middle sector, 2/4 of a second down. That might have... So, Wexler may have unintentionally interfered with Gobert's lap time here. As Surikov comes to the line. Where does Surikov go? Surikov to the line, only 6th place, not even within 0.4 of Wexler, as Gobert improves, but not by enough, and as Sharp's still in provisional pole at the moment. Schmidt sets his lap time, goes 9th place, as Ollie Clark-Smith crosses the line, and Clark-Smith will be the last one to finish a lap here, as we only have Wexler and Clark-Smith left in the fight for pole. Wexler, white first sector, not improving, but only 1/10 of a second off of Sharp. So Wexler's not entirely out of this though. And now, oh, what are they doing? There's Gobert in the way. Did Gobert get in the way? No. Green middle sector for Wexler. So it may not be over, but there's more traffic in the final corner. Who is that? That's Surikov. That could be trouble for Surikov. 2 white sectors for Clark-Smith. He's not improving in his last time. Wexler to the line. Goes 4th. Ahead of Claire Tally. So Wexler's in 4th place. Starts 4th. It's an all Rossini 2nd row. As Clark-Smith to the line. Does not improve. Sharp gets pole position. Chapman 2nd. The 2 Rossinis with Gobert out-qualifying Wexler again. Tally 5th, Surikov 6th, then Bergman out-qualifying Clark-Smith, Schmidt, and Vercluse. Brilliant job from Bergman. And that was qualifying. And that was qualifying for the final race of the season. So tomorrow we will head to the race, the championship decider. Wexler, Sharp, and Chapman for the title here.
It'll be an exciting race for sure. The top three all in the first two rows exactly where they will want to be. However, it is firmly dear to Wexler's to lose.
Indeed it is.
In the event that the unthinkable happens, who will be the one to capitalise on the opportunity? Would it be Sharp? Would it be Chapman? Would it be somehow neither of them and some outsider steals the race victory and gives the title to Wexler?
It is.
All to come tomorrow in the race.
Indeed it is. We'll see you for the race tomorrow.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Wolf Motorsports broadcast of the World Motorsport Championship title decider 2020. In the constructors, it is all at the top, said and done. Rossini having the title, however, battles lower down may still emerge with teams such as Thornton, Rosato, Ukkonen, LaRue, and Chariot currently pointless in last, looking to avoid the drop, who all of which will look to gain some last ditch points at the sweltering Dubai circuit. Meanwhile, the drivers, the talking points, what everyone's here for. Wexler 20 points ahead of Sharp, 23 ahead of Chapman. But the twist in this tale is Wexler is being forced out of his own heart and determination to win to race with COVID. That is right, the Big C might ruin Wexler's Big C of the 2020 championship. As now we head to the grid where, unfortunately enough for Wexler, Zoe Sharp and Harry Chapman line up ahead of him on the front row, with Sharp 300ths ahead of Chapman for pole position.
Second row of the grid, though, is Gobert and Wexler. Gobert leading the charge for the Rossini team this time around. Almost 0.4 of a second faster than Wexler. But all Wexler needs to do to win the title is to finish in 7th place, and he wins no matter what. Or, Gobert can steal the title by winning the race outright herself.
Meanwhile, to complete this little sandwich we have going on, the other Steinman and other Panther, Claire Talley and Nikolai Sirikov, line up 5th and 6th.
The brilliant Bergman lines up in 7th place in his Katana, managing to out-qualify Ollie Clark-Smith, who lines up 8th. Bergman looking well in the Katana and showing Katana's in continued improvement.
As we see on row 5, one driver who's been told they're safe and one driver who has not been told they're safe. Wolfgang Schmidt and Nabil Vericruz complete the Q3 qualifiers in 9th and 10th.
The current flying Finn, Aki Lipponen, starts in 11th place, and choosing to go on the soft tire to start this race, alongside a very impressive Cristiano, who starts 12th in the Cortorsi Corsa car.
Linda Lorenz lines up 13th. She's looking to round out a comfortable, albeit quiet season, ahead of Sanjay Modi's replacement in the second Van Dort, Thierry Lundqvist, who lines up a respectable P14.
On the 8th row, it's Maria Gonzalez starting 15th place for Rosarda Corsa. Not exactly where she wanted to be qualifying, but it's still a decent starting spot. And Hamrin starts 16th and winning the battle of the Ukkonen cars.
It's last chance saloon here for the first of the two chariots. Jeremy Woodford did make it into Q2, although unable to progress much further. He lines up 17th alongside the second Ukkonen of Kyohisa Bashir.
The normally flying Rick DeGraff is the mildly enraged Rick DeGraff this week as he qualifies a disappointing 19th, missing out on Q2 yet again. And it's crunch time for Iker Vidal, the second of the two chariots. He is desperate for points here. If his team doesn't score points, it's back to the Asia Pacific Cup for him, and he doesn't want that at all.
Two drivers with very different stories on row 11. Kofi Koro, whose dad owns the team, who's given him the drive, lining up 21st on the grid, is 20th in the championship. And it's farewell to the mostly loved Nina Holtz, lines up 22nd for LaRue in what is most likely, according to reports, set to this time be her final race in her long, illustrious career.
On the back row of the grid, the final qualifiers for the final race of the season. Esteban Ribeiro, the Brazilian lines up 23rd on the grid. He's under pressure as well from LaRue to perform here, as he might be leading the team going forward. And Ji-Sun Lee, probably the most under pressure driver in the entire field, starts 24th and last for the final race of the season. As we head to the 5 lights to start this race. What will happen here as Wexler needs to get a good start here to get this to win this race, or at least win this title. All bets are off now as the 5 lights come on. Lights out and away we go in the desert. As brilliant start by Sharp. Chapman gets an even better start though. Chapman alongside the Panther. And Chapman's going to outdrag Sharp into turn 1. Not what Sharp needed for her championship hopes. The two Rossinis file in side by side, second and third and fourth, as the rest of the field is going 2 and 3 wide behind through the sweeping assets to start sector 1. Clark Smith got a brilliant start up into 5th. Vercluse is up into 8th place. Lorenz got a good start as well. Claire Talley down to 6th place. Surikov drops a spot. Clark Smith got a brilliant start. Aki Lippinen is battling Wolfgang Schmidt to try and get into the top 10 already. As Bergman got a bad start. He's lost 4 spots already. Bad start for Bergman. Bashir's gained ground. Kor's gained ground. Ji-Sun Lee has gained 3 spots from the back of the grid up into 21st already. And Rick DeGraff is on the warpath. He's up at the 18th already as well. Many cars gaining places off the grid. Here comes Gobert trying to jam it down the inside of Zoe Sharp at the final corner. Couldn't quite make the move as we end lap 1. The top 4 separated by 1.2 seconds as only Clark Smith sets the opening fastest lap of the race.
Well, a very mixed bag here, as there are many people who gain multiple positions, but many people...
Here comes Gobert, though! Here comes Wexler, though! Sorry to cut you out there, but Gobert almost sent it down the inside of Sharp already. Vercluse has bullied his way past Surikov. Surikov down to P8. What has happened to the second Panther car?
As one person near the back who gained 2 positions off the open, although he has just lost one back, and Jeremy Woodford down in P17. Again, Chariot need to throw the kitchen sink if they are...
Oh! Off goes Gobert! Off goes Gobert! Off goes Gobert! Lost many places onto the dirt and sand, all the way down to 19th place goes Gobert. So it's down to Wexler now as another car goes flying off the track. It's Jens Bergman. Bergman went flying off the track in turn 1. And he's dropped a few, but he managed to hold on to his position. As here comes Cristiano D'Aste. He's trying to get up into the top 10, trying to battle with Aki Lippinen, who's now into 10th place. As Clark Smith has been the biggest mover in the opening laps of the race, he's up to 4th. And Ji-Sun Lee's also gained 3 spots at the back of the field up at the 21st. He's desperate for a good result to try and hold on to his seat in the WMC. Biggest loser.
Place you want to run off Gobert, as she is unquestionably the biggest loser, as Wolf was likely about to point out. Just such a hard place to recover from if you've been it. She's lucky to have not lost the car and stalled and to actually keep it going.
Indeed. Gobert, although if Gobert hadn't been the biggest loser so far might have been Jens Bergman, who dropped to ninth after his brilliant qualifying. He's dropped to ninth already. A big disappointment for him after qualifying 7th.
Meanwhile, someone who is happy to sit where they are, avoiding the action, about a 2-second gap ahead and behind. Dieter Wexler is in 3rd. This is all he needs. Chapman and Sharp can battle all they want so long as Wexler remains ahead of the chasing pack.
All Wexler needs is a 7th place finish to be able to lock up the title no matter what happens here today. Actually no, I am incorrect. It is a 6th place finish. If he finishes in 6th place, the 8 points he gets will lock up the title no matter what happens.
As meanwhile, all this talk of Wexler, Gobert, his teammate, struggling in the pack, can't seem to make much progress. Someone trying to make some progress is Claire Talley down the inside of Clark Smith just before the main straight.
Contact! Oh, that's a puncture! That's a puncture on Schmidt's car. Schmidt's got a puncture, and that's a broken front wing on Aki Lipinen's car. Broken front wing on Lipinen's car as he dives into the pit lane. Narrowly missing getting clobbered by the recovering Gobert and the flying Rick DeGraff, who's up to 14th now. Rick DeGraff is on the warpath at the moment. Here he comes to the outside of Siri Lundqvist into turn 4, trying to go the long way around the circuit. As here comes Sharp. Sharp is also trying to make a move on the right on the back on Chapman now. These two have nothing to lose here. They have everything to gain, but nothing to lose here in the title fight here. They both want this win. They need this win to try and have any hope of winning the driver's title from Wexler, and they're going for it here. Meanwhile, DeGraff, by the way, just to finish on that, he failed. He couldn't quite make the move stick on Siri Lundqvist for 13th place. But here goes Gobert, though. Gobert trying to make the move on DeGraff now. Here comes Gobert, the Rossini trying to recover from her mistake earlier in the race. As DeGraff still trying to take a look at Siri Lundqvist, trying to go to the outside of Siri Lundqvist now, but tries to come back to the inside, which doesn't work either. It's very hard to find the right line here to make a move stick before the long straightaway.
As back towards the front we go with Sharp and Chapman, two drivers with very different reasons for wanting to battle all out. Chapman to try and regain what he lost with that catastrophic engine failure that happened in Rio. Totally the wrong time to have an engine failure in the season. This penultimate race in a title fight, as we see that Surikov ran wide. And
off goes somebody. Someone just went flying off the track. Gonzalez went off the track, but Gonzalez is currently in 10th place. What's happened? What has happened? Cristiano is up in the 8th. What happened there? We missed that. We didn't see what happened. Cristiano D'Oste is up to 8th place now. Sirikov's down to 9th. Gonzalez is now 10th. And Gonzalez is up to 10th now.
I think Surikov ran wide at the final corner, and then Gonzalez just ran wide at turn 1, and D'Oste was sitting in 10th, and now he's sitting in 8th.
We missed it, by the way, but Gobert and DeGraff have finally cleared Siri Lundqvist now, and Gobert is now trying to clear Rick DeGraff now. She's trying to clear the currently flying Rick DeGraff once again.
Surikov is in, those tires must be dead, probably why he ran wide.
Medium tires! Interesting call here. The medium tire for Surikov. Is he the guinea pig for teammate Sharp, as we're being told the Steinman crew's getting ready? Is it for Chapman or is it for Claire Talley? Who's it gonna be? Well, who's it gonna be, as Chapman's still holding the lead at the moment, but who's going to be pitting first? Are they going to give it to Chapman or give it to Talley? It's going to be Chapman as he dives in.
Maybe the undercut is the preferred strategy of the Diamond crew, although pitting, I think he's only the 4th driver to actually come in, so he may come out in P21 behind a large majority of the grid. In fact, yes, he does. Out in P21, and those are super softs.
Ooh.
Super softs. This could be a massive undercut with 4 seconds of clear air over Sharp.
The interesting thing to note here as well is that the only cars who have pitted are Aki Lipinen and Wolfgang Schmidt, who both had damage of different kinds, puncture for Schmidt and front wing for Aki, and Nikolai Surkov, who did have a actual scheduled stop. Although those mediums don't appear to be working. Those mediums.
Crew getting ready.
Ooh, which car is this going to be? Is it going to be Gobert to try and clear some get out of this traffic, or is it going to be Wexler who dives into the pit lane first? So Wexler dives in. Does not appear to be a double stack, as they're going to leave Gobert out there for another lap. As Gobert goes flying past the Flying Dutchman, and Gobert up at the 10th now, at the moment. As Wexler comes out of the pits, and those are super soft tires for Wexler. He is on super softs as well now.
However, that I will point out, that gap between Chapman and Wexler was 3 seconds. It's now 5. The undercut is clearly an effective strategy for some.
Unless your name is Nikolai Surkov, who tried it but went to the medium tire, and he is not making any ground at the moment. He's gained no ground on the leaders at all at the moment. He's lost ground, in fact. He's probably lost ground as Chapman trying to battle his way through traffic, as we're being told the Cherry Crew is ready for Jeremy Woodford, who's just getting passed by Chapman now. And Rossini are out in the pit lane again, and we believe the Panther Crew is as well. Yes, Sharp and Tally both pit, as Nabil for Sharp and Tally are both in, and so is the Rossini of Gobert. Gobert is in as well. Sharp comes out, super softs for Sharp, and Claire Tally, medium tires. Claire Tally on the medium tire.
Sharp is behind Wexler by 2.5 seconds.
And Sharp is livid over the radio. She's asking why they didn't call her in earlier, as she sees the Rossini pulling away.
Well, she sees the Rossini pulling away. What she won't see is Harry Chapman, who is, looking at the timing chart, 7 seconds ahead. That's how much 2 laps of a powerful undercut can make, as we see Chapman looking to make a move onto Graf. A double move down the straight as he passes Hamron before the penultimate corner.
Traffic's going to be a big factor here as Nabil Recluse, the race leader, pits. Now, that puts Kiyoshi Bashir and Linda Lorenz as the leaders. Cristiano Leal is currently 3rd. Marie Gonzalez is 4th right now in the Rosada Corsa. Even Rick DeGraff and Hamron are 6 and 7 right now.
As we cut towards Bashir in the lead, still fighting with Cristiano Dues. Bashir and Lorenz obviously on those soft tyres. They go 22, 23 laps, so the front 2 will not be pitting anytime soon unless there was something interesting to happen. I don't want to commentate as curse it, but you never know in racing.
Interesting thing to note is
Wexler makes a move for P8,
yep.
And Sharp is on Wexler's tail, exactly where Wexler will want her.
All Wexler needs is to keep that Panther in sight. That's all he needs to do as they blow by Rick DeGraff on the straight. Something I was about to mention as well at the back of the field. Aki Lipinen is on the medium tire, so we will see how long he can go, as he pitted earlier for those medium tires. As Holtz locks up further in the field on those soft tires. As Gobert is setting Gobert is setting purple sector. She's on a charge. As we're being told that Cristiano is about to pit from 4th place now. As Chapman's about to bully his way by Kiyoshi Bashir and retake the lead of the race. But we'll see what Aki Lipinen can do. We'll see how long Aki Lipinen can go on those tires, though, as he was the first one to put those medium tires on, so we'll see how he does on those tires. An interesting thing to note is that Aki is also no longer last in the field. He is ahead of, surprise, surprise, Ji-Sun Lee in the Rosada Corsa, who is still struggling in last place.
As we see the graph coming out the pit, getting past Lipponen on those fresher tires.
Indeed. De Graaf, though, has some of the freshest tires in the field at the moment, so he might be able to start making some moves, as we're being told Marie Gonzalez is now coming into the pits. The tire whisperer herself is now pitting, as here comes Gobert flying down the straight and clears Nikolai Surikov and Nina Holtz. Gobert is on a charge. And that's Clark Smith in front of her.
Speaking of a Panther battling a Rossini, the other Panther cleared the other Rossini somehow. I think there was a bit of traffic involved with Gonzalez, but Sharp now 2 seconds ahead of Wexler. Crucially, still 6 seconds behind Chapman.
Gobert just cleared Esteban Ribeiro to get up into 11th, and is still on the back of Ollie Clark Smith for 10th. Gobert does not want to give up that easily.
Speaking of being on the back, Sharp's on the back of Lorenz, who's on the back of Bashir. Sharp looking to clear Bashir to get into second place.
Oh, to the inside of Clark Smith. Trying to hang with Clark Smith. Still hanging with him. Still trying hard. Here comes Clark Smith. Brilliant move to the outside and clears Vidal and Clark Smith and gets up into 9th. Gobert will not be denied, as Coro is still out there currently running 8th at the moment. Meanwhile, Wexler is trying to battle Kiyoshi Bashir to get back up into 3rd, and he does so. Bashir and Lorenz are currently the first cars who have yet to pit in this race, running 4th and 5th, right next to each other.
As we see the normal top 3 resume itself, not necessarily in the order that Sharp or Wexler will want. However, then again, it is enough for Wexler just to sit back now in P3, is 7.5 seconds clear of Tally, who is the next real competition. We see Clark Smith, who's past Coro P9. Coro on those older softs fading away. Vidal behind in P11 again. Reminder that Chariot need points anyway, any method, as we see Gobert battling Hamron on somewhat old soft. Blows by in turn 5.
Gobert at the moment is provisionally P5 at the moment.
Meanwhile, we see Surikov looking to make a move on the old tyres of Kofi Koros. We're hearing all the way down the field. Jeremy Woodford's locked up.
Those medium tires have not worked. Those medium tires are just not working for Surikov at the moment, and they are also not working for Claire Talley at the moment.
Exactly, not ideal to be locking up on the whole point of those.
Look at Surikov though. Surikov 3 wide to get past Hamron and Bergman, but Bergman is hounding that Panther car. Here comes Bergman.
It's a 2-step difference in the tyre compounds, as Bergman in the weaker car but on much better tyres.
Can Bergman make the move? Can Bergman make the move on Surikov and pull up a brilliant overtake? He's hounding that Panther. The Panther doesn't have the best engine in it, and Bergman's Katana has got some speed recently. Not quite. As Hamron ran wide. Just ran onto the dirt and lost some time there. As Bergman is hounding him. Bergman is hounding Surikov. Tried to go to the outside, but wisely backed out of it and ducks in line. Meanwhile, Tally clears Linda Lorenz for the moment. Is now finally on the back of Kiyoshi Bashir. But it took way longer than expected for her to catch up to Bashir in a much slower car. As here comes Gobert, easily able to clear by Linda Lorenz, as Tally just about clears Kiyoshi Bashir up into 4th place now. And here comes Gobert. Gobert now on the back of Kiyoshi Bashir to try and claim 5th place and be back to almost where she started. Inside of Bashir and Gobert up to 5th. As Wexler locks up.
Not good for the German. I know it's tough. Racing is a tough thing in and of itself, as we're hearing Nina Holtz further back has a mechanical issue. We will see if it's terminal or not, although it looks like she's down on power, so we'll see what that's all about. As Chapman's in, Chapman is in!
Oh, Chapman in! That's early. Only on lap 22 of the race? Already making his second stop? Soft tires.
Soft tires, that means there is at least one more stop to go. Probably
Indeed.
2 sets of softs to the end, as the AWS forecast says the optimal amount of time you want to spend actually is 22 laps on a set of softs. As we're hearing Surikov ram wide, falls behind Hamron, looking to make a move back on Hamron, side by side, coming up to turn
Ooh,
5.
Surikov hanging in there.
With a better car, gets the move done before turn 6.
I think Surikov's in trouble here as Chapman locks up on his new tires. That's not what you want to do.
That's not how to warm them up, buddy.
No, it's not.
As coming towards Gobert, who is now enthralling herself in a battle for what for the moment is the final podium spot with Claire Talley. It's equal-ish cars, some average worn mediums versus some heavily worn super softs. Who will come out on top?
Well, she's on Tally.
Skilled drivers.
She's not letting Tally get away here.
As Gobert is starting to voice some mild.
Clark Smith around the outside of Bashir right before the Clark Smith around the outside of Bashir. Bashir Lorenz and Ham.
Uses Kurz, can't make the move.
Bashir Lorenz, Hamron, Coro, Fidel, and Ribeiro all are still staying out on those soft tires. They have still yet to pit, and we're over a third of the way into the race now. Brilliant endurance on those tires for those drivers.
As Chapman makes a move on the aforementioned Bashir from what is P6. We see Chapman trying to make a move fast on the Yuma of Ollie Clark Smith. Meanwhile, behind him P7. Bashir may be the first of these soft starters.
Ooh, Schmidt dives in.
Speaking of the pit lane, we see Schmidt dive in for some soft.
Still, he's only 23rd after that stop. Still trying to recover from his mishap with hockey.
As we see Brigitte Gobert passing pit lane, still trying to hunt down Linda Lorenz, whose mediums, Claire Talley in this time and not Linda Lorenz. Although
as Bashir dives in. Bashir dives in. He's the first of the soft runners to dive into the pit lane for a scheduled stop. And so is Hamron. Both Vukanen's in. Both Vukanen's in, and both Vukanen's back on. Couple cars lock up, including Bashir on those fresh tires. That's not how you warm them up. I know Chapman just did that, but that's not how you do that, buddy. As both Ukanen's pit and put on soft tires, so they're running a two-stop strategy here at Ukanen.
Wexler looks to be coming in as well. His tires are firmly done.
Indeed, Wexler's in. Maybe that lockup made him not be able to go further.
As we see Brigitte Gobert still behind Claire Talley, whose mediums seem to be phasing in well, although that is Chapman sharply behind Gobert, and I assume they will let Chapman through because Chapman needs to win, put simply.
Gobert's currently... So Talley is the effective leader, but here comes Chapman. Here comes Chapman on those pressure tires, although he and Gobert are effectively racing each other. He and Talley, are effectively racing each other, as both need to make one more stop in this race. But Chapman's on the pressure tires, and probably is on the pressure tires here, so he shouldn't have any problems dealing with his teammate. As Gobert dives into the pit lane. As Wexler, we didn't comment on it. He's on softs now, as Bergman is also diving in now. Bergman dives in for his second stop now. Lorenz is in the pit lane. Can Lorenz manage to managed to get up before Bashir comes across her. Lorenz coming out of the pit lane. No, Bashir undercuts Lorenz. Bashir up at the 12th. He might be able to he might be able to get a point just yet, as Kofi Koro in 9th is still yet to pit.
As we see Gobert passing Kofi Koro, and Wexler is sitting ahead of Lundqvist, hunting down Surikov. Meanwhile, Blair Talley is not letting Chapman by very easily. Chapman being told he's got to work for his meal.
Here he comes. He's trying to send it to the inside of Talley. Talley defends the position. Interesting. So Talley is not going to move over for Wexler, as we predicted.
Bit of a strange moment in the race, perhaps, as Steinman refusing to intervene, letting Talley prove her worth against teammate in what is probably better machinery as well as better tires.
Indeed.
While further back, Surikov and Wexler.
Here he comes.
Gonna make a move.
Or not. No, he couldn't make the move.
As Gobert made a move on Lundqvist and Wexler's made the move off the screen on Surikov. Chapman uses Kurz, dives down the inside.
And this time makes the move stick.
Sharp is now up in the third, 7 seconds behind Chapman. That first undercut still lingering in the timetable.
So, Sharp is currently second, still 5 seconds down on Talley. Clark Smith currently running fourth, but we predict he's going to have to pit soon. Jinsun Lee has disappointed his team yet again by running off the track again for the second time this race. And Gobert is currently seventh, but is quickly catching up to Nikolai Surikov on Surikov's old mediums.
Well, with 37 laps to go, just under halfway done, no retirements so far, a couple of collisions as Gobert sets a new fastest lap with a wrong sector 3, a very unusual time to be setting a new fastest lap on lap 30.
Indeed, already a couple laps into your stint, it's really odd indeed, but who cares? That's still showing she's not willing to give up anytime soon. And Wexler's not giving up either, as Wexler at the moment is still in the position to win the title as it stands.
Meanwhile, further back, Rick de Graaf has dropped 2 positions in the last lap. Something must be going on with his cars. He was 11th, but he is now 13th behind Barry Cruz and Lorenz's teammate, as Hammer and Bergman in 14th and 15th, we aren't showing it, but they are having a ferocious battle.
Oh, and Clark Smith's off! Oh! Clark Smith off in the wall! Hard in the wall! Virtual safety car deployed! This could change up strategy for people. But no one near the pit lane. No one's really near the pit lane to take advantage of the front runners. Will the virtual safety car stay out long enough though for anybody to take an advantage? A set of mediums will make it to the end from here, but nobody pits.
Not worth it. It's a bit of a dead spot in terms of strategy. If there were to be a VSC about 5 laps earlier, then maybe it would have been a golden opportunity as we see the front 3 pass up the opportunity.
Chapman, Sharp, Talley. Wexler also stays out. Does Surikov come in on those medium tires and get rid of them? No, he stays out as the virtual safety car ends, so nobody pits under this VSC. But with Clark Smith out, that means there's a point up for grabs here as Bashir is charged up into 8th place now. Bashir's charging up to 8th place now, past Maria Gonzalez. Bashir looking to try and go out in style and get a point.
Meanwhile, up front, Claire Talley, some rigorous defending from Sharp ends as Sharp claims P2. Needs to hunt down Chapman. Needs to win, and then an extra event for Wexler in order for her to claim not only her maiden victory, but potentially the outside shot the title.
Indeed. Both. But yeah, to max for their chances for either. Oh, Wexler! Wexler's off the track. Off goes Wexler, and that pulls the championship wide open.
What does this mean for the championship?
This changes things. So now the situation is this. If Sharp and Chapman could win the title, if either of them win this race, they have a shot. Although Sharp needs to win, both of them need to win this race to get this title. Unbelievable.
Wexler, we can hear him through the coughs, obviously having COVID, is crying, and we can now see him getting out the car, and as he takes off the helmet, he is literally in floods of tears through the coughs. Obviously the stewards can't really comfort him because he's a massive COVID risk, but unfortunately I think the illness caught up to him halfway through the race, and it's now all in the hands of his opposition. Chapman and Sharp 5 seconds behind.
One of them could win this title. So this isn't over. As Chapman dives into the pit lane.
Chapman is in again.
He's in again. 32 laps to, but with 32 laps to go, unless he goes mediums, he can't make it to the end. He'll have to pit again. What is going on? Soft tires.
Soft.
No,
I don't get this.
No, that's the wrong move. I think that's the wrong call here. That could give Sharp the title. Sharp could somehow snipe this, still get this title after all. But what about Claire Talley? Claire Talley is still in contention to win this race and potentially spoil it for everybody. And so is Gobert. If Gobert can get back up to the front, Gobert could win this race and save the title for Wexler. It's not over yet.
I'm now hearing as Wexler finally, about 7 or 8 minutes after his crash, has made it back to the pit lane, the first thing he's done is jumped on Gobert's radio and told her to get it, presumably the race win, to block Chapman and or Sharp. Speaking of Chapman, he's caught up again to Surikov and looks to pass the second Panther.
How many times has Surikov been passed during his stint on those medium tires? It's got to be like 20 times at this point.
Too many, man.
Chapman short pitted, by the way. We were being told that his tires were pretty much fine, so he short pitted for some reason. We're not sure why. But as a reminder, by the way, the situation, if Chapman and Sharp both need the win to win the title here, as
nothing else matters.
If Sharp technically could tie on points with Wexler by coming second with the fastest lap, but she would lose on countback as Wexler has more wins. So whoever wins this. So if Sharp or Chapman don't win, Wexler is your champion. If anything else happens, like a safety car for Maria Gonzalez crashing.
It's unbelievable. It's a safety car. Maria Gonzalez is out at turn 6. I think just getting the replay as fast as we can, but I think it's just a simple lock-up into the gravel and then ending on the wall.
And this changes
the penultimate corner.
And this
she changed strategy.
And
yes,
this changes
running out, but Gobert is in.
And this changes everything. This changes everything here. Sharp and Talley have missed the pit lane. Chapman is obviously going to stay out here. It's a short safety car as well. It's only a short one. So this could get really interesting indeed, as Chapman won't get the benefit of running a couple laps under the safety car to save his tire wear. So Chapman is still in trouble here. Gobert, however, might just be able to make it to the end here. But what about Talley? What about Sharp? What do they do? What do you do in this situation? Do you stay out or do you pit?
The graph so far, the only other driver to come in.
Sharp stays out.
As it stands, Sharp stays out. Claire Talley, what will she do?
Tally stays out.
As now it's Chapman, Surikov, Gobert.
Surikov, no.
No. Because Gobert has already bitten that shoe, so she will obviously stay out. So
she will have fresher tires than everybody else, and will have a free shot at Sharp, Tally, and Surikov, and Chapman as well.
Meanwhile, before we talk about the top 5, let's talk about the bottom 5 in the points. Bashir and Hamron in the points, Bergman, Lorenz, and Veracruz.
A very interesting,
with a safety car.
A very interesting bottom 5 of the points positions at the moment. And with Cristiano and Cristiano's 11th, and guess who's back up at the P12? It's Aki Lipinen. His true strategy of the medium tires has actually worked for him. He's managed to make those mediums work where Surikov has not, and he's currently up in the 12th place. But we're being told Catano's getting ready for a pit stop, and we think it might be for Aki Lipinen. Why they didn't pit him earlier, I'm not sure. But the leaders have just now caught the safety car, so maybe that's why they waited. They waited longer to They waited longer to make this work.
However, yes, to talk about the top 5, it is very interesting. Sharp in prime position, as we are getting confirmation it is Lipinen who will be coming in off the mediums, a valiant effort from him. But as for the top 5, Sharp, Tally, Chapman, Surikov, Gobert. Gobert, actually, who pitted and came out P5, only losing that one position for Surikov, who's not come in and is on some very old tyres. Could Gobert play spoiler and get it, as Wexler has asked for, as Lipinen? What a call that is from Catano.
Super soft tires.
It'll be 2 sets of them to the end.
But with how few people have pitted. With how few people have pitted under the safety car, it could be a masterstroke. So watch out for the flying fin to make some moves under this restart here.
And gotta hurry up.
The audience, we're being told the audience has spiked to a massive over 10 million people watching this finale here. Normally Dubai is such a downer of a race, but the audience has spiked dramatically here as the back of the field actually hasn't caught the safety car as the safety car is coming in. So Aki Lipinen, his strategy might have backfired here as he's a couple seconds off the back of the field. And Gobert immediately up into Gobert immediately
side by side. Chapman is second.
Gobert immediately ganging up on Surikov and getting by her. Gobert's on a warpath. Clears Claire Tally immediately. Here comes Gobert. The flying Frenchwoman is on a charge here. Chapman trying to get Sharp. The two remaining title contenders fighting side by side up at the front. And here comes Gobert on fresher tires. Here comes the Frenchwoman. Can she make the move on the potential champion-elect? Yes, she does. Gobert to the lead. To the lead goes Gobert. Gobert to the lead. What a brilliant move for the Frenchwoman. She's not out of this race yet. She wants this win and wants the title for Wexler. As Chapman and Sharp are fighting amongst themselves now. This could cost them the world championship. Unbelievable. And we don't know if Chapman's tire wear is all right. Chapman, who has a couple laps under green on his tires, he may not be able to make it where Gobert can. So it's not over yet. Tire wear could play into this race still.
Unbelievable scenes as Chapman set 2 purple seconds that lap. Angry with how easily Gobert has passed.
And Sharp is watching her title hopes slip away. How old are Sharp's tires though? How old are Sharp's tires? They're 17 laps old. Yeah, Sharp will have to pit again anyway. Aki Lipinen, by the way, has charged up to 11th place already as Cristiano's into the pits. Aki up into 13th place now. Here comes Aki Lipinen. Aki Lipinen and Rick DeGraff are on the warpath right now. Rick DeGraff is flying up the field, and so is the Flying Finn. The Flying Finn and the Flying Dutchman flying through the field on this restart here. What scenes are these? Here comes Siri Lundqvist. Siri Lundqvist, the reserve driver, up into 8th place as Verklus dies in for a pit stop. Aki Lippinen up into 9th now already. Where did he was last at one point. Off goes Siri Lundqvist in turn 1. Lundqvist off in turn 1 and gives the place up to Aki. Here comes Aki on Linda Lorenz. Lorenz is no match for Aki's tires. And will Bergman get out of the way for his teammate? Yes, he does. Aki easily makes the move on the inside, and Bergman didn't fight it. Aki's on a warpath right now. This is unbelievable. The Katana's got the grip. It's got the speed. It's the fastest car on track right now.
This would be some achievement, but if you're listening, do you maybe look at Tally and Surikov?
It might be Tally and Surikov. They still need to pit again. They can't make it as Jeremy Woodford dives into the pit lane now. Rick DeGraff is up into 11th, but is stuck behind his teammate Lorenz, who is blocking Rick DeGraff for no reason. What? Get out of the way, Lorenz! Your teammate is on fresher tires, and he's flying right now.
As more towards the front, Chapman is staying within Gobert within 2 seconds, unfortunately. Unless there is another twist in this fantastic tale, it looks like Sharp's hopes are over. She needs a maiden win, and 8 seconds is not going to help.
Lippinen is closing on Surikov. Lippinen is closing on Surikov. Are we about to see a brilliant move from the current generation of the Flying Finn? What will Aki Lippinen do? Here he comes to the trying to send it to the inside of the Russian. Not quite making the move there, but on the straight, he's got the grip, he's got the speed, he's up to 5th. Brilliant move from Aki Lippinen. And remember, he wasn't on the back of the safety car queue when the race restarted. He was a couple seconds down on Aki Lippinen. Aki Lippinen was a few seconds down on the back of the safety car queue, but he is flying. He is on the warpath right now, and nothing and no one is stopping that Katano. Safety car deployed. Linda Lorenz. It's Linda Lorenz. It's Linda Lorenz. She's out of the race. She's out of the race. Lorenz is out. And
sorry to spoil you, Wolf, but something will stop that Katana. It's Linda Lorenz.
And now
binned at turn 3.
And if you're the championship contenders, now what do you do? Do you pit again and try and get fresher tires and pull an Aki through the field, or do you take the smart option and stay out? If you're sharp, Tally or Surikov, you have to pit right now. You cannot stay out if you're sharp, Tally or Surikov. If you stay out now, you forfeit the win. You forfeit any shot of winning. And
as Chapman is in,
Chapman dives in. Chapman dives in.
Has not come in. That is crucial. Gobert choosing to stay out.
What does Chapman do?
Surely it's soft compound tires to the end. 19 laps, the super softs only go 15. You'd be risking it.
Sharp's in. Sharp in. Tally.
Everybody looks to be in.
Sharp, Tally, Aki, everybody coming in now. Sharp, Tally, Aki, Lippin, Aki, Surikov's in as well now. Oh my, what is going on here? Lundqvist, Bergman, Schmidt, everybody's coming in. They're all coming in. And Gobert has caught the safety car queue. Gobert is in trouble here.
As it looks like Rossini are gonna switch the call and go for it, as we are seeing a split actually of people who think they can make it on the super softs and those who think the soft tire, that little bit of extra longevity, will actually be better in the long run. As we will see if Gobert makes any move as she is at the final corner.
Well, let's see what happens here. If you're Gobert, you must be hating yourself because she was the one who made the call to stay out. She made the call to stay out, and it looks like it might have been the wrong one. As it's a short safety car, as we're being told it's a short safety car, so tire wear could be marginal here. Where does Gobert come out? 15th place. 16th. Well. And look who's P4 on fresh super sauce. Aki Lipinen. He could be a dark horse to win this race. And guess who? And Claire Talley could finally win for Steinman, currently running third. Kiyoshi Bashir is up in the sixth place right now. Bergman in Lundqvist 7th in her reserve role. Bergman 8th, DeGraff 9th, Hammer 10th, Coro, Schmidt, Cristiano, Recluse, Ribeiro, and then Gobert in 16th. This race will not quit. This race is simply unbelievable. It reminds me of the 2008 decider, where everything happened in that race, and you didn't know who was going to win, or who was going to win the title, or who would even win the race.
Well, it looks like at the moment Chapman is in prime position, but Sharp again, the ultimate dark horse, could end up winning her first maiden race, and more importantly, her first maiden title, and Panther's first title in 8 whole years.
The ultimate irony would be if Sharp and Chapman collide and take each other out of the title fight. That would be the ultimate irony. Or if Claire Talley somehow steals the win from both of them, and she picks up her first win, and denies Sharp her win and the title, and Chapman's as well.
If you're Wexler, all you can really hope for is that first option of Sharp and Chapman coming to blows and 30 seconds down.
And if you're Gobert, though, and if you're Gobert now, it's crunch time here. She wants to be the team leader of Rossini. Now's her chance to try and prove it from 16th place on the grid. But here we come to the restart zone, provided by Set Oil for this race. We're coming to the restart zone as Chapman is about to lead them away. Chapman in the restart zone, and Chapman puts the hammer down and foot to the floor. We're underway, and here comes Claire Talley, already trying to make a move on Sharp for second. Bergman locks up and causes a traffic jam in the middle of the field. Gobert has not gained any ground at the moment, is stuck in 16th place at the moment, trying to make the move on Esteban Ribeiro, and does so. Sharp is losing ground, though. Sharp is under pressure from Claire Talley. Here comes the second Steinman. The second Steinman's got super soft tires, and she might be a threat to win this race. And deny that. Bergman's up into 7th. Lundqvist is dropping back. Here comes Rick DeGraff out of nowhere. Rick DeGraff up into 9th. Gobert's up into 14th already. She's on the warpath. She does not want to be denied here after a bad call. Chapman says the fastest lap of the race, but it's not over by a long shot, ladies and gentlemen. This race has still got more to give. As Gobert trying to fight her way through the field. Meanwhile up front, Chapman cleared by 1 second. Clear by 1 second at the moment. Aki Lipinen bullies his way by Sirkov back up into 4th place. Gobert's on the warpath. Gobert up into 12th now. Gobert's on a charge. She does not want to be. She is trying her heart out right now. Meanwhile, Claire Talley is struggling to make an impact on Sharp. She's still trying, but is stuck in 3rd right now. All Sharp can.
However, Sharp is dropping back with all this fighting from Claire Talley, so even if Talley can't make the move, this
DeGraff up into 8th place. Chapman locks up. Chapman locks up. He locks up. Chapman locks up, and that's going to bring Gobert and that's going to bring Sharp and Talley back into the fight now. And that could cause tire wear issues for Chapman, depending on how his tires are, as Gobert is fighting Rick DeGraff to get up into 8th place. Gobert hanging in there. Hanging in there. Makes a double overtake, but is fighting both Van Dorts right now. She's stuck in a Van Dort battle pack right now, and is trying every which way she can to make the move. Meanwhile, Sharp is closing on Chapman. Did Chapman damage his tires with that lockup? As Talley is on the back. Talley's on the back of it. Is on the back of Sharp now. Lipinen is still.
In fights.
Lipinen is fighting Surkov, and contact. It's Bashir and Bergman. Bashir's got damage. Oh no, Bashir. He was running in 7th place and going for 6 against Bergman, and Bashir's got damage, and Bashir has to give up 7th place. And guess who that promotes into the points? Wolfgang Schmidt. Wolfgang Schmidt and Siri Lundqvist are back in the points now, but here comes Kofi Caro. Caro is up at the 11th place now. He could get a point, as Jens Bergman has a 5-second time penalty for the incident. Meanwhile,
actually at the moment promotes Caro into P10, that penalty.
We're coming to 10 to go. 10 laps to decide it all. This race is still not over.
As it's all out on the front, Halley is coming in. She doesn't feel she can do any more damage as well.
Whoa! Tally dives in!
Well, yes, Halley dives in. Bergman has also come in. Maybe there's some damage need fixing.
Sharp is closing! Sharp is closing! Sharp is closing on Chapman. It's half a second. Sharp wants this title. She needs this win. She wants this title. She wants it all.
It's now just a pure racing 1v1. Sharp versus Chapman. Sharp looked down the inside, doesn't quite make the move.
Sharp is on the back of him.
Gearbox.
It's all. This is it. This could be for the title here. This could be for the title here. For pride. For glory.
For everything. All the marbles. This is what this whole season has come down to. A Sharp.
Whoa!
What a move!
Sharp!
Can't quite make it for now.
She's trying to hang in there though. She's not giving this up. She wants this. She needs this title. As Schmidt gets by Rick DeGraff, the super soft tires might be starting to fall off already.
Maybe that's why some of the runners have hit. Meanwhile, back to all the marbles we go. Chapman crosses the line ahead by 1/4 of a second, 9 laps to go.
DeGraff locks up.
Both lost the position.
And Schmidt's up.
Lipinen is in.
Lipinen dives in. Schmidt is up into a brilliant P5, and Core's up into 9th. Hammered up at the 10th. That could cause havoc in the bottom half of the constructors. Rick DeGraff is currently 7th.
As Woodford and Vidal, actually, both of them will put on the softs. They're P13 and 14. A couple extra collisions, and they could be somehow saved in this wild race.
Meanwhile, Gobert on the back of Surkov. Gobert trying to go to the inside of Surkov. Surkov playing blocker right now.
8 laps to go. Sharp staying in that half a second. That heavy slipstream gap. Sharp giving it all that she can. Can she make the ultimate move?
DeGraff pits.
Herself a title as DeGraff is in at the back. He comes out in.
Sharp's on her. Sharp's on him. Sharp is on him as Gobert's battle. Gobert trying to get Surkov still. Surkov doing everything he can to try and make this a 1v1 up at the front. Sharp still not giving up. She's still on the back of Chapman. Chapman's lockup could come back to haunt him here if. Depending on what happens here. 7 to go now.
The adrenaline must be searing through both Sharp and Chapman. This is all they've worked for as a kid. Obviously, Chapman is a multi-time champion already. However, Sharp has never tasted this level of glory.
Hammer and Pitts, both Cortorsi cars are up into the points now. Esteban Ribeiro is 11th now in the LaRue, and the two Chads are 12th and 13th. They could still get this, as Bergman's got a 5-second penalty behind them. So even if Bergman gets by, it may not matter for Bergman.
As 6 to go.
0.2 of a second, the gap now between Sharp and Chapman. Sharp is still hounding that Steinman with all she's got.
6 laps to go, well, 5.5 laps to go now. She's got to make a decisive victory move at some point. You've been there, but not quite. Sharp, staying.
Here,
this is a good gap.
Sharp, she's got to run.
Does she have tires?
No, not quite. She couldn't make it. As Woodford is up into 11th now. Woodford's up into 11th now. He got by Ribeiro.
As 5 laps to go. Sharp is staying tight. It's a good run through turns 3 and 4.
You gotta stay close here. You gotta stay close here to get a good run down the straight. If you have curves, this would be the time to use it down the straight to try and make a move here.
It's so close. As Gobert is starting to say she can't battle for too much longer. Sharp can get a good line there through turn 7. Will not be able to make a move.
Ribeiro is struggling now on those tires. Vidal has cleared Ribeiro up into 12th now. The two chariots, oh so close now, as they are 10th, 11th and 12th now, 2 seconds behind Cristiano for the final point. If Coro struggles on his tires, then then they might get a point after all, and they could get away with this. As Ribeiro gives up the unequal struggle in pits.
Bergman behind the two chariots, but with that 5-second penalty, will be unlikely to score any points even if he were to make moves. Speaking of moves, it's becoming ever more nervy for the Panther crew as Gobert almost making a move on Surikov, but Sharp has dropped half a second. What's going on with the Panther? Is it losing pace on these weaker tyres once more? Sharp now down to 0.6 of a second of the gap to Chapman.
Oh man, the pressure is very high at the moment. Aki Lipinen is now up into 12th now. He could spoil the party for Chariot.
Indeed he could with those fresh tyres
and without a penalty as well. Without a penalty as well, this is for position as Sharp within 0.3 of a second of Chapman once more. Ji-Sun Lee runs wide, but who cares about that? The fight is up at the front. 2 laps to go.
It's now or it's never for Sharp. Chapman looking for his 6th driver's title. Sharp begging the racing gods for something at the deck here, as we see Lipman has sadly cleared the chariots. That is all but over for the chariot charge.
Indeed, but the fight up front is still alive. Half a second between Sharp and Chapman. Sharp closing down the straight, not quite though. Bergman locks up. Recluse up into 7th. The white flag is up. Final lap of the season is underway. Chapman versus Sharp for the title. All or nothing now. If you have anything left, you gotta give it now. Both of these two want this title. Both of them, they want this title. All bets are off now with these two. It's title or bust for them both. Sharp 0.7 of a second down. I think she may not be close enough to make a move here. Down the straight they go.
She is down to 0.8.
7
with the slipstream. But as Chapman, the penultimate corner and the final corner, Chapman is going to come across the line and win the 2020 championship as Bergman has crashed.
Bergman crashes in sector 1 on the final lap, but Chapman is the world champion. He survived charges from 4 different drivers throughout the season and through this race, but Chapman is the world champion for a 6th time.
Championship undoubtedly matches his first championship in terms of how
Cristiano just hangs on to get 10th place, a double points finish for Cortorsi. As Lipinen just misses out, and Lundqvist gets 8th, a brilliant reserve role for her. But if you're Sharp, you gotta be wondering, what could you possibly do? She gave it everything she had through the entire season, and it still was not enough for Sharp to win the title. But Chapman is your champion for 2020. A wacky season full of ups and downs, highs and lows, and Chapman somehow, some way, is the champion by only 2 points. Unbelievable. That is an unbelievable end.
It's not over yet, as we have to always have Park Ferme checks. We can't have the finale without them.
Indeed, we can't.
It's unlikely, but can we have the ultimate final twist at the absolute death of the season, Park Ferme of the finale? We will see.
Indeed we will, as the scrutineers begin to go to work in Park Ferme. We wait to hear the confirmation. Is it Sharp? Is it Chapman? Or does Wexler somehow get it anyway, despite crashing out?
One thing I will say regarding Sharp, even if she doesn't win the title, I think she has basically guaranteed herself pick of the bunch for any of the open seats for next season.
If I were her, if I was any team principal that's not any team principal, I would be calling her up right now to try and offer her a contract, because she must be living with Panther, as she did everything she could, and she could not make it, and she could not win this title, despite all her efforts.
She didn't win a race, and yet she's only came 4 points off the title.
Indeed.
That is an astounding record.
Indeed.
And another driver who I will say is probably safe is Nabil Veracruz in the Yuma. However, as we get the official announcement on the scrutineering,
it is official. Harry Chapman is the world champion.
A 6-time world champion. One more and he ties the record of 7. We will see if he can do that in 2021. However, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this unprecedented adventure through some of the darker periods of racing. I've been Ginger.
And I've been
joined
Wolf.
by Wolf. This is a Wolf Motorsports broadcast, signing off until March of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.